Hi, it's Lauren with Bargain Bead Box. Today we are going to make a necklace using the June Sunken Treasure collection. So this necklace uses the fancy Crescent pendant from June's box. We're going to make a little fan detail at the bottom with the bronze plated lava stone and some fun links using the bead caps, spacer beads, and some fun other supplies. So let's get started. Alright, so from the box today we are using lava stone nugget beads in bronze, the 8mm myfinite round beads dyed teal, the 8mm Malaysia jade, which is a dyed quartz, frosted round beads in this lovely turquoise icy blue, one of our patina crescent pendants, the textured bicone beads, the textured steel jewelry chain. We're going to be using our patinaed bead caps, and finally we're going to use one of our toggle clasps. And the only items that I'm using today that are not in the box are jump rings. I just grabbed ring 136 from the Bead Box bargain stock. It's just a mixture of different sizes, but we'll probably use a 10mm and a couple 6 or 8s. That's probably what we're looking at today. I've got pin 554 eye pins in antique bronze, and then we do have eye pins in this box, but the only head pins. The only head pins that I'm using are to make a little fan pendant at the bottom, and it seemed a waste to cut down those nice big old eye pins or head pins just to do that. Can't get my pin straight today, so I did grab pin 539 because they are a shorter head pin, but you can use the head pins that come with the box, and that is fine too. Alrighty, so I'm going to open everything up and we'll get started making our pendant. Alright, I forgot to mention we do also need one of the long pins from the box to make the little hanger for the top of our pendant, which is what we're going to be working on in just a second. But first, I'm going to make the little dangle that hangs in the middle. So I'm going to use one of my 8mm quartz beads, and I'm just going to slide a little lava stone bead over on top of it. And I will make a simple loop here. You can do a wrapped loop if you want, but make sure to make it nice and tight because the size is pretty close. You don't want it to hang down too far into the middle of your crescent. You want it to fill that space nicely. Alright, there's my little simple loop on top there. Alright, so now we are going to make a little wire wrapped hanger for our crescent pendant, and we're going to suspend the dangle we just made in the middle of it. Wish me luck because I've done this 4 times so far and it worked really well twice. So I've got my long head pin. I'm going to thread the end through the left side of my pendant here. And I'm going to put on one little lava stone bead, followed by the dangle we just made, and then another lava stone bead, just to keep that dangle in place, kind of right in the middle. Now I'm going to pull the head pin back very carefully. I'm going to thread it through that second loop. Alright, so now for the tricky part. I'm going to start by folding the sides of the wire up about in the middle of it. Right here, about as high as I can get it. And now I'm going to cross them as close to the base of the pendant, as close to the loops as I can get them to cross there. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take the part with the head on it and I'm going to make a little loop. So I'm going to fold it down and bring it, and this is important, I've got the loose piece, this other end is behind the loop. You don't want it in the middle of your loop or in front of your loop. Keep it behind there while you're shaping the loop until you're happy with it. So ideally, I want my little decorative ball head there to be right in the middle of the hanger. So let's see if I can make that happen. I'm going to pull it a bit more this way and then push this down. There we are. So I'm kind of forming a little loop there. Now I'm going to take this end and I'm going to start to wrap that loop as tightly as I can. So I'm going to pull it towards me and around, and I'm going to just wrap that several times. There we go. You can see it's starting to take shape. wrap this around the little loop that we've made. And my goal is going to be 3 times. So I'm just going to pull it around. Let's see, it may or may not be long enough to actually make that 3rd pass, but I think that the double loop looks really nice too. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it there because I want my wire tail to be in the back of the piece here. So I'm going to trim it down, and then I'm just going to squish it really well. And then I'm going to try to make that top loop a little bit rounder. Just kind of play with the wire here. Yeah, there we go. Pretty happy with that. So now you've got a nice little wrapped loop up top. All right. Just going to squeeze it, kind of try to tuck that last little bit down and into the rest of the design. All right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Look at that. You've got your nice little ball head in the middle of your little hanger there. It actually does look kind of like a little wire hanger. Perfect. All right, so that's the hard part. All right, so now we're going to make a little fan pendant. We're going to start with 4 lava stone beads in the center here. So I'm going to get my head pin and I'm going to put 4 lava stone beads on it. And then we will go ahead and make simple loops. You can do wrapped loops if you prefer. I have a really hard time wrapping things when it's got to go on a big piece like this. So I am not going to try to do that. I have some tendonitis in my wrists and I have to be realistic about how much I can get done in a day. But it would look really pretty with wrapped loops too. So if you want to do that, absolutely go for it. I'm going to make kind of a bigger loop than I normally would, just because it's got to go through this hole in the thing, and it's got to have enough room for the thickness of the pendant inside it. So I'm going to start rolling that towards me, and I'm going to just bend it backward, kind of open up that loop a little bit at the top, and there we go. Now I'm going to lift my ring open there. I'm going to try to find what looks like the most middle bit here, which to me looks like that one. I'm going to have to open it wider. There we are. I'm going to swing it through. I think, yeah, that looks like a pretty good middle. And now I'm just going to close that loop. Here, close that back down. Okay, so there's our middle piece for the fan. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 3-piece dangles to go on either side of it. And it looks like I could stand to make, it hangs just fine when you hold it up. I could stand to make it maybe a teensy bit bigger on those loops. Just because you've also got these little dotted edge pieces. It's very decorative and it matches these ball head pins very nicely. It's just a little something extra to think about when you're making your loops there. All right, so now I'm going to do 2 3-piece pins. Here we go. And I'm just going to roll this towards myself. And here's hoping I made that loop big enough. We shall see. I'm going to swing it open wide and put it through the hole. I think I'm going to leave 1 hole in the middle between the 2. So I'm going to put it in the second hole. Yeah, that's going to hang nicely. So not the hole immediately next to the one I did the middle piece on, but the hole after that. So there's a little empty hole in the lace filigree pattern between each drop. And that just gives some extra space for the beads to move. Yeah, that's going to look nice. All right, so I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. I love these little bronze lava stone beads. I think the texture is so fun. They look like coral to me, little sponge coral pieces, but since they're actually volcanic rock, you are not harming any biodiversity to use it. So, I love that. All right. I'm just going to make this big loop here. and swing it open. And again, I'm looking for not the one immediately next to the middle, but the one after that. Yeah. All right. So now I'm done with my 3s. I'm going to do 2s. Making a little 7-piece fan pendant here. Man, those were so popular when I first started beading. They'd have, you get this little gemstone fan pendant with like 13 segments in graduating pieces. I wonder why those aren't as much of a thing anymore. Maybe I should look into it. See if I can still get some made. 'Cause I had one of my first necklaces I ever made for myself. I was so proud of it. It was in high school. I was a freshman in high school, and it was this big like 5-strand choker with turquoise seed beads and a little imitation turquoise fan pendant and different like black bead accents. And man, I loved that thing. I wore that so much. All right, so now I've got my little 2 bead accent here. I'm gonna put it here. I gotta swing this a little wider. Did not open it quite far enough. All right, I'm gonna put it again. Gonna leave one hole empty and put it in the next. I'm just gonna fold, come back here and close this loop. Here we go. All right, one more with 2 on it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what happened to that choker. Probably lost it when I moved to college, but that was my proudest work my freshman year. All that to say, I love fan pendants, always have, so that's kind of what inspired the bottom of this piece. All right. This is a nice big loop. Yay, I remembered to make it big. All right, again, I'm gonna count, not the hole right next to the 3, the one after that. Close that loop up. All right, now we just need to put the single lava bead dangles, and we're done with the pendant. I really loved these crescent pendants. The minute I saw them, I wanted to do something like this with them. It's like, ooh, I wonder if there's enough space in that lacy trim to hang some dangles from it. And there is. So here we go. Another quick loop. It's not the prettiest loop I've ever done, I'll be honest. Okay. And leave one loop empty and go through the one after that if I can swing it. No, that's the one immediately next. Wrong one. Oh dear. This loop is kind of a hot mess, I'm not gonna lie. May have to redo it. Or not. We'll see. Yeah, I at least gotta straighten it. I bent it all out of shape pulling it out of there. There we go. Straighten it up. Open it up. It's still not a great loop, but maybe it'll work. It's close enough. All right. This pattern is so confusing sometimes. I think that's the right one. That is the right one. Yay. Awesome. Oh, it's gonna look so pretty. Okay. And another one. And this is our last little dangle for this fan. So again, I'm gonna kind of fold this back so I can make a bigger loop. All right. It could be a little loopier. I'm gonna fix that up a little bit. like that better. That looks like a more civilized loop. Okie doke. Now, if I can just put it through the right hole, we will be all set. Look at that. So cute. It's kind of a fussy little pendant, but so pretty once you're all done. Alright, close that up. And there we are. Look at that. You've got a lovely little fan pendant. And you've got your dangle in the middle of it. So we're done with the pendant. Let's start making the beaded chain. Alright, so to start this chain, I'm going to use a 10mm jump ring to connect 2 more links to the pendant. So I'll make my links first, and each one is just going to be a lava stone bead, if I can find the hole there. Well, that one's finicky. There we go. I don't think that was actually the hole. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And then a myfinite bead, and then another lava stone bead. There we go. And I'm just going to trim that down and roll it into a simple loop. Doing all the simple loops today. Again, I usually just roll away from me to start, then grab it at the base, pull it back towards me, turn it around, grab that tip I just rolled, and pull it down. And if you need to, you can make some adjustments to the way that it stands. One thing I will say to watch out for, the lava stone beads are a little bit fragile, at least right around their drill hole, because they are a very lightweight volcanic rock. So, got some stone fragments going on there. Alright, now I'm going to do that again. And we'll do our lava stone, then a nice myfinite round. I love how this green myfinite, another lava stone bead, I love how the green myfinite looks against that antiqued bronze, or the patinaed bronze. It's so pretty. Together, I think it just works very well. Trim it down, and then loop it again. So, funny story about these eye pins. I was very close to just making myself my own eye pins. I ordered them months ago as part of a big findings shipment. Well, the factory sent it in 18 boxes, and 17 of them came. I'll give you one guess which box did not come. So it actually got here right before we started this tutorial. We'll have them back up on the website for y'all too. I always try to get in some findings in the middle tone of the month when possible. It's taken a little longer than we expected. Our little package number 18 took some nice detours on its way to us, but it got here. So, not going to complain about that in the end. Alright, so I'm just getting my eye pins ready. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a simple link with these Malaysia jade beads. But first, I'm going to attach these pieces here, and you can attach it directly to the hanger if you want to. That is absolutely an option, but I like the way that it looks with a little bit, like just this little round link above it. So I'm actually going to grab a small, probably like a 4mm jump ring. If I can see, here we go. This one should work. Just so that we can make sure our pendant hangs the direction that we want it to. Use my handy dandy jump ring here. Alright. And I like to use these big old chain nose pliers for jump rings because it is a lot easier on my wrists. I know some people prefer to use like a nylon coated plier. I do not have the wrist strength for that. It's no doubt better because it has less risk of putting chain nose marks on your findings, but I tend to find that antique bronze is not a super fussy finish, and I'm gonna just use what is comfortable for me. But for best practices, if you can, nylon nosed pliers or nylon coated pliers are great. I just don't get along with them. But that's a personal thing. Alright, I'm going to open and close these eye pins here and attach them to our big ring. And then we'll be ready to make our next links. Alright. There we go. Okay. It's looking good. Alright, so next I'm going to just do a simple loop to make these into little links. Just real quick here. I love the matte finish on these. It looks like sea glass or beach glass to me. They're so pretty. Just makes me happy. Now the other one. One thing I do try to do, and I didn't do a great job on one of those links, is be consistent with the direction that I'm folding my my loops. Right now I'm doing them basically perpendicular to the one on the bottom. Sometimes I do them parallel. The big thing is to, if you can, just kind of stay consistent throughout the piece. It'll help it hang a little more evenly when all is said and done. Alright, so now I'm just going to open these loops up and stick them on. And we're just going to make a beaded chain. And when you're opening a loop, it's important to swing it up and not uncurl it, because if you uncurl it, you will likely never get it recurled. Well, you might. I will not, ever. I do not possess that skill. So, I just try to be careful with how I open them. Okay, so now we're going to do our biggest, fanciest links. We're going to start with a lava stone bead, and then we're going to do a bead cap, and then a myfinite round, another bead cap, and another lava stone bead. All right, so now I'm going to take that, trim it down just slightly, and make my loop. Loop it towards me. Oh goodness. I can already tell it's going to be an ibuprofen kind of day, but I promise this necklace is worth it. Okay. And now I'm going to make another link like that. Oh, I already got myself an eye pin. Look at that. Oh well, I'll use that one in a second. Alright, lava stone, bead cap, myfinite round, another bead cap, and finally another lava stone. I don't think I even really need to trim that one. It's just about the right length. Okay. So now we're going to add these on to our chain. Or just drop it, that works too. There we go, there's one. And the other. Okay, so there's the first repetition of our pattern. I'm going to do one more repetition, and I'm going to start with the Malaysia Jade, because here this is sort of the continuation and end of the pattern. So we're going to do Malaysia Jade next, and then we're just going to do another set of each of those 3 links. So starting with Malaysia Jade. I really do think that this light blue color, move this up so I have more room to work, is such a pretty accent to the deep bronze green tones in this set otherwise. Brings some lightness, while the others add texture and depth, which I enjoy. When I was younger, I never wore long necklaces. If it was over like 18 inches, it was not for me. But the older I get, the more I like long statement pieces. So that's what this is going to be. Got one more of these to do. All right. So here we go. Now I'm just going to open this loop. And we're going to close it. And there we are. All right. So next we're going to do another link with your myphenite surrounded by lava stone. So we'll do 2 of those. And then we're going to do another Malaysia Jade there. So Malaysia Jade is dyed and heated quartz. Some factories that sell these beads call them dyed and heated quartz, and some call them Malaysia Jade. And as far as I have been able to determine in speaking with them, the only difference is the marketing. So, if you see dyed and heated quartz, yeah, that's the same thing. It just, some of our listings on our website might call it different things because the factories we obtained them from call them just quartz and not Malaysia Jade. But it is becoming a more common trade name. Trade names are so helpful, or rather confusing. So many things in the bead industry are called jade that are not actually jade. New jade, yeah, that's serpentine, and unless it is jadeite or nephrite jade, technically it's not jade. You're going to see a lot of dyed quartz, a lot of dyed marble being called jade. Again, serpentine gets called jade a lot. It's not nephrite and it's not jadeite. Technically, it's not jade, although the bead industry may like to call it that. Oh, like peace jade? I love peace jade. It's an absolutely gorgeous stone, but it is a blend of serpentine and quartz. So just because something is called jade doesn't mean it technically is jade. But if you like the stone, my philosophy always is, does it really matter? But also the answer to that is yes, it does matter to me. I'm a words person. I'm an English major. I like words to mean things, but they mean the things that they are used to mean. However, on Beadbox Bargains, I will always try to be as exact as possible. You'll often see things in parentheses, like definitions of terms like peace jade, or jade will be in quotation marks, and we'll explain in the description what it is. So if it's a common enough name that it's what the bead industry just calls it, hey, I'm going to call it that. That's correct. But I am also going to try to explain what exactly the composition of the stone is, because these are things that matter to me. And I get irritated when I see people marking hematite as a natural stone, when most of what's on the market, and certainly anything that's on the market that's, you know, affordably priced, is a man-made stone. It's a lab created, just like goldstone. Goldstone is not a natural stone, and again, that does not decrease the value of these things at all. In fact, I love goldstone particularly. I have nothing against man-made hematite either. I just like it to be marked as such. This has been my soapbox for the day. Here we are. All right, I'm gonna do one more of these Malaysia jade rounds, and then we'll do another bead cap link there. Okay. Here we go. Oh goodness. All right. Time to add this link. And now we will repeat that fancy link. I've got all this like powdered lava stone on my mat. I may be pushing these a little hard, but that's okay. They are fine. Okay, so now we're going to do a lava stone and then a bead cap around the myphenite. I love the patterns of myphenite, all the different composite bits that make it up. So pretty and so unique. And we're hiding half of it here under bead cap, but that's okay. It just makes it more mysterious. We go with that anyway. All right. And those bead caps, I love bead caps. I may overuse them. Just realized I'm not holding this. Here we go. Perpendicular link loops, Lauren. Doing perpendicular loops this time, not parallel. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I love bead caps. I probably overuse them, but you'll see them in most boxes just because I love them. They add, I don't know, they just add such a finished look to a design. Just so much metal and texture there. All right, one more. And then we will have 2 caps left over. Maybe I'll make a pair of earrings to go with these. Maybe we'll do that at the end. I've got an idea for them. We'll see. All right. So it just seems like 2 leftover bead caps are kind of begging to be made into earrings. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna add these. And then we just have 2 more loopy segments on each side. And it'll be time for the chain. Just go ahead and attach this. I feel like my loops are getting worse as I go on. My wrist is feeling it, but I'm going to finish here. It's all right. I can always go back and fix it on another day if it really bothers me. I don't think it's going to have a problem with the way it hangs. All right, here we are. For our last 2 sets of links, I'm going to do the Malaysia jade followed by one of our bicones, and that's going to be the final link on each side. So we'll do the Malaysia jade first. Yeah, this color blue it makes me so happy. It's always been a favorite of mine. Here we go. It looks so frosty and cool, which is not the way it feels outdoors right now. My goodness, I don't know about y'all, but our AC is struggling to keep up today. It is quite warm. The studio lights do not particularly help, so. But it's all right. We are hopefully going to have some cooler days before too long. And in the meantime, it's great pool weather, which Lynn is thrilled about. She loves the pool so much. It's a little splash pad in town, and we've been going in the evenings when it's not so hot. And she is obsessed. It's a 6-year-old paradise. All right, here. So when we first got our goats, it was May of last year, I think, and last June was pretty warm too. And my husband was filling up their water, and it was a really hot, dry day. And he just thought, oh, maybe they would like it if I just sprayed them with a little water, help them cool off. Which, if you know anything about goats, you're probably laughing because, yeah, no, they're like cats. They did not love it. They ran away squealing, and it was pretty pitiful. So, yeah, they do okay in the heat, but goats do not like being wet. And I knew that because I'm the kind of person who researches absolutely everything that could possibly go wrong before they try to do a thing. So I, joined the goat groups on Facebook or whatever and heard that they get upset when it rains and all that, but I didn't realize they would get that upset. It was poor things. Surely it felt nice. Some goats apparently don't hate the water, but ours definitely do. All right, final loop here. And here we go. All right, so now I'm going to cut some chain once we finish this here, and we're going to make the chain segment of the necklace. So we're done with the beaded portions. I maybe let this one a little bit loose and try to tighten that up a little bit. But it looks pretty good overall. And then just gonna straighten that up. There we go. Pull that a little tighter. There we are. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, you can, if you are a measuring person, measure the length so far and figure out what length you want it. And that is awesome. That is not the way I live my life, so I'm going to eyeball it here. I'm going to double up the chain because I love a doubled chain. It just looks better with a statement piece like this, I feel. But let's see, how long do I want it to be? Let's try. Yeah, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of chain. I'm going to make each piece the total amount of length I want to add to my necklace since I'm going to double it. All right, I think that will look pretty good. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to just cut the link here. Let's see, because these, I don't know, these look like they are open loops. And you know what, I'm still going to cut it. My wrists are tired. There we go. All right. Now I am going to try to even it out here. I'm going to just put both links, or both ends, on a pin here and then pull it so I can get it nice and even. All right, so then if I cut this loop right in the middle, I should have 2 even pieces. Now I'm gonna do something a little different today. I'm just going to double it over. I'm not going to cut it into 2 segments because I don't think I'm going to need to. Let me see. And then, yeah, especially if I get myself 2 more jump rings here, I'm thinking probably at least a 6mm ought to do it. Yeah, that should work. But in case they don't, here's a couple more like 8mm. Just does the back up. All right. I am going to, first of all, take an 8mm ring here. Pull this away. Get my clasp. I'm going to attach the end of my beaded chain here. Actually, first, I'm going to stick this loop on my clasp half. Alright, so I'm sticking the 6mm jump ring on my clasp half. And I'm just going to stick that on this chain as well here while I've got it open. And it's just going to swing freely, but that way it'll naturally probably want to stay at, yeah, the midpoint there. And then I'm just going to take this ring, open it up, and put my chain ends, just slide each end on there. I'm going to try to keep up with it so it doesn't twist. So this one goes on this side, or goes on first. Alright, this one goes on this side first. Basically, I'm just trying not to twist it up. Alright, and then this one can go on this side second. That'll be easier. I won't run away as much. There we are. And I may have put that clasp one upside down, but I will fix that. Yeah, no, that's fine. Alright, and this is actually like free to move around the chain, but it'll naturally want to sit at the half point there, if you can see that. Cool, cool. That worked nicely, so I'm going to do it again. Sometimes when I try things out, then I don't know how they're going to work, so glad that that worked. So once again, going to throw a 6mm jump ring on our clasp half. And I like to have the clasp bar on the right side since I am right-handed. And I'm going to stick it on the chain here. Close that up. And now all I have to do is attach it to this side of the necklace. So again, I'm going to try not to twist it. I'm going to do this side first, and then that side. And now I'm going to close the ring. All right, and there we have it. So that will finish off our necklace. You've got this wonderful fan pendant with a dangle in the middle. You've got a beaded segment, and then you've got a doubled chain segment at the end. Want to make some earrings? I feel like we should make some earrings, because otherwise, what else am I gonna do with 2 leftover bead caps? So we're gonna do this real fast, and I'm gonna grab the leatherback earrings from the box. I'll just take 2 of those. They've got this cute little shell motif on them. That'll be perfect. I don't like that eye pin. It's too curvy. Too curled up. I'll have to bend it before I use it. All right. So I think I'm just going to do a quick little earring I'm going to make a link with an eye pin and Malaysia Jade. Just do a simple little loop. And I would normally probably do a wrapped loop for the dangle underneath it. But today, I'm just going to do a simple loop as well. I've done so much looping and I'm tired. So I'll do a myfinite and then the bead cap and then maybe a little, yeah, I like that. Yeah, we'll just put a little lava stone bead on top. And let's make a little drop there. And yeah, I think this would be really cute with a wrapped loop if you wanted to do a wrapped loop. I do not at this time. All right, it's gonna be cute anyway though. Okay, so I'll swing that up. Put this in here. Close that up. Or completely undo it. That works too. Oh. Train. Sorry, y'all, we had a train come through. Super loud. When we bought our building by the tracks, we weren't really anticipating putting a video studio in it, but anyway, I've just connected my link to my little drop here, and now I'm just going to stick that right on. Oh, that's cute. Right on the ear wire. Nice. So there's one, and I'll make the other really quickly too. I just feel like I can't leave two little bead caps unused. Here we go. Alright, it's very simple earrings, but they match the pattern of our necklace nicely. So I think they'll be cute. Alright, and finally, we have another myfinite bead. And then our head pin. On our head pin we have our bead cap. And get a little rounder one. There we go. If I can find the actual hole. So many little volcanic holes in these beads. Sometimes it's hard to find the real hole. And we'll just do a little simple loop. Sorry, I'm kind of working the bottom here because I'm trying to show you so someplace you can see it against the necklace in the middle, but or instead of over the necklace in the middle. But all right, here we go. Going to assemble the earring. I'm being a little quick here, but you get the points. You can do pretty little wrapped loops if you want to. It will be cute. Alrighty. And that's that. So now we have a cute little pair of earrings to go with your statement necklace. Alright, so now there we have our pair of earrings to go with our statement necklace. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this project. I would love to see what you've made at our Facebook group, the Bargain Bead Box Creative Corner. You can find us on Facebook. We would also love to hear from you if you have any questions, comments. Just thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We'll have more tutorials and special sneak peeks coming for you soon. Thanks so much, and happy beading.